loving leader.
Good day, welcome to your news at noon on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. While the government is gearing up to appeal a court ruling that orders ExxonMobil to furnish the country with a parent company guarantee to cover the cost of an oil spill that may occur as a result of its operations in the Stabroek Block, Attorney at Law Elizabeth Dean Hughes believes the administration would be better off enforcing the judge's decision. Dean Hughes explained that without a parent company guarantee, Guyana would be left at the mercy of the oil company. The advocate was keen to note that the company representatives who offered verbal assurances to Guyana may very well not even be here if an oil spill were to occur many years into the future. She argued that signing a parent company guarantee would not cost ExxonMobil a penny and should moreover not be an issue for the company if all its safety, international norms, and daily practices are in order. Sir Kerwin Mars, the headmaster of the St. Mary's Secondary School, was on Sunday night found dead underneath a vehicle at the Perseverance Housing Scheme, Providence, East Bank, Demerara. Police confirmed Mars's gruesome death but said that they can't definitively say if it is a case of murder or an accident. Persons living close to the scene, however, said that they heard loud arguments before vehicle revs and crashing sounds. When they came out, they were greeted with a scene filled with blood splatters on a crashed vehicle, with one of the doors opened and the lights still on. The lower half of Mars' lifeless body was found pinned underneath the back wheel of the car, with the upper half crushed against a concrete and metal fence of a two-story apartment building. It appears as if someone had reversed the vehicle to run over Mars, but that individual was nowhere at the scene where the body of Mars was found. We understand that the 21-year-old had been threatening to kill Mars recently. Investigations continue. The Institute for Energy Economics and Financial Analysis, in a recent statement, commented on the historic judgment handed down against ExxonMobil Guyana and the EPA, citing the danger it spells for Guyana. The body pointed out that the May 3rd ruling by Guyana's High Court Judge Justice Sanil Kissoon has found that ExxonMobil Guyana has failed to provide adequate insurance for the cost of recovering from a potentially catastrophic oil spill from a massive drilling project off the coast of Guyana. The agency added that the court found too that ExxonMobil engaged in a disingenuous attempt to dodge full responsibility for any damage that might be caused at its Liza 1 field, part of an offshore project that produces 380,000 barrels of oil daily. The expenses of ExxonMobil has remained hidden from the nation since Vice President Bara Jagdeo fears that Kaieteur News may nitpick and misrepresent facts. Although the media has been a critical watchdog in alerting the nation and its leaders to numerous egregious factors pertaining to the petroleum sector, the Vice President is not comfortable releasing the oil company's cost recovery statements or forecasts for resources to be used to develop the sector. He made his position clear during a press conference earlier this year. In the meantime, auditors have been combing through the expenses submitted by Exxon prior to production activities. The findings so far have been damning, to say the least. The expenses... My apologies, and moving on, Guyana has the opportunity to finally give the Stabroek Block the respect it deserves when ExxonMobil relinquishes it in 2026. Once the license expires, Guyana will be able to break the hold of the production sharing agreement, widely criticized for its lopsided terms on very valuable offshore acreage. Guyana can then auction off the acreage to other qualified explorers and potentially break up the block into several smaller ones, fostering competition offshore. Guyana would be able to subject the new blocks to the Model Production Sharing Agreement, which was introduced last year. It features a 10% royalty rate and lowers the cost recovery ceiling from 75% to 65%, which will give the government better terms for the new blocks. Guyana will also be able to tax the profits of the new contractors. One man is dead and another critical after crashing a car they allegedly hijacked at knife point from a taxi driver around 2 hours 45 on Sunday morning at Soos Junction, East Bank Demerara. The identity of the suspected bandits are unknown, but according to police reports, they crashed the stolen car into a utility pole at Land of Canaan, a short distance away from where it was hijacked. Investigators learned that the car, a burgundy Toyota Premio, belonged to 34-year-old Joel Williams. And two gunmen in a dark-colored Toyota Premio motor car on Saturday night opened fire on a police corporal in his minibus along the Rupert Craig Highway. The cop, who is stationed at the Sparrandam police station, said that the men shot at him around 20 hours in the vicinity of Conversation Street. He said that he was on his way to work when the dark-colored car pulled up alongside him while approaching a traffic light along the highway. A warhead was found embedded in the policeman's bus door, and a 9mm spent shell was found lying on the roadway. Investigations are ongoing. And as usual, we wrap things up by being a little blunt by turning the pages of today's Kaieteur News to page 7. Walking the talk. A Guyanese is walking against Exxon's vile contract. Guyanese have a chance to show where they stand. One man is walking the walk from Berbice to Essequibo. It's time for Guyanese to stand up and walk for their rights. Time to stop talking. Time to start walking. The world is watching. Guyanese, are you moving? And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Seems like children have been home from school forever, and you've done